Hello, my name is Dallas Mayer. Thank you so much for coming today to visit my website. I would like to welcome you to my art exhibit at the Rick Husband International Airport in Amarillo, Texas. My exhibit will be up December the 12th through the 1st of May. I hope you get a chance to come out and visit it. Today, I am going to read to you a narrative that I have put together about the local history of the area and what inspired me to paint the survivors. Prairie fires are ruthless, storms of combustion, devastating to all that lie in its path, sucking up the oxygen in the air. The prairie fire is emotional. The Survivors by myself depict a scene out of our history. The famous Goodnight buffalo herd in the panhandle of Texas was started in 1878. Colonel Charles Goodnight, at the request of his wife, saved some of the buffalo that were being so rapidly exterminated by the hide hunters. Goodnight captured 2 wild calves, 1 male and 1 female, near Wagon Creek in the Palo Duro Canyon, where he had established the J.A. Ranch. The following year, Mrs. Goodnight's brothers, Lee and Walter Dyer, roped 2 more calves, and thus the Goodnight buffalo herd begun. Later, the T. Anchor Ranch gave him a captive bison, and 2 more were secured from Colonel B.B. Groom's ranch on the Canadian River. From this group came the herd, which numbered 7, and in 1933, about 250. It was Goodnight's firm belief that they migrated for food. The buffalo was on the move in the spring, and at the first green sprig of grass, they turned back in the fall. The herd left no grass behind them from the late 1850s until he died 70 years later in 1929. Goodnight knew and lived with the buffalo. 1871 was credited with the beginning of the great buffalo slaughter. Don Hampton Biggers, a Texan born in 1868, sensed he was seeing the end of something grand and doomed. The bison was virtually terminated by 1877. Biggers was quoted saying, "I never saw the carcass of a buffalo that had apparently died from a natural cause, nor have I ever met an old hunter or plainsman who had. Such things as a poverty die-up certainly never happened among the buffalo. Those driven from the herd were generally killed by wolves, and weak ones would sometimes get stuck in bog holes and thus perish. And I once saw several hundred dead buffalo in a section of country that had been swept by a prairie fire, and suppose they had died from suffocation or been burned to death. Natural history tells of nothing sadder than a buffalo herd overtaken by a prairie fire. Flee as they might, the fiery hurricane was fleeter, and when the flames swept up and over the herd, it left them in a most pitiful condition. Drought was another enemy of the great buffalo range." Bill Kress was in Texas in 1877 through 79 and had first-hand knowledge of the happenings of the time. Later, he wrote this verse as a memory of times past. "It comes to me often in silence, when the firelight glimmers low, and the black, uncertain shadows seems wraiths of long ago, always with a throb of heartache that thrills each pulsive vein, comes that old, unquiet longing from the buffalo range again." The true heroes were the men and women like Colonel Charles Goodnight and his wife, Mary Ann Molly Dyer Goodnight, Walking Coyote, James McKay, Frederick Dupree, Charles J. Buffalo Jones, Austin Corbin Sr., William C. Whitney, General Harry C. Trexler. The protected herds in some of our nation's parks include Caprock Canyon State Park, Wichita Mountains Wilderness, Custer State Park, and Yellowstone National Park. This list is only a few of the keepers of the bison. They are survivors because of them and the many others that had and still do have a hand in caretaking. Visitors can enjoy seeing the bison that roam the park at the Caprock Canyon State Park and Trailways, just under a 2-hour drive from the Rick Husband Amarillo International Airport. To learn more about the local legend, Colonel Charles Goodnight, go to Charles Goodnight Historical Center. It's located just 35 minutes away in Armstrong County, Texas. While you're in Amarillo, please go to Canyon to visit the Panhandle Plains Historical Museum. It is a must-see. I hope you enjoy your time in Amarillo. Thank you so much for visiting my website and my art show here at the Rick Husband Amarillo International Airport. Thank you very much. Have a great day.